Sandy Johnson, and I just want to share with you some of my experiences from my life over the last 29 plus years. If I had two words to sum up my experiences, they would be perseverance and resiliency. Throughout my life, I had to persevere through negativity to come into the person I am today. One such example was that growing up, I had a nickname in my household and among my close neighbors. They called me this word. People at school wouldn't believe it because in school I was so quiet, I didn't speak. But from that time, I darkened the doorstep till it was bedtime. I talked. I talked. My mother was like, "You talk too much." So I began to get that little reputation. She said, "You don't ever shut up. She just talks and talks and talks." So one day, one of our neighbors that lived across the street, his name was Todd, he came running over. He was about in 10th grade. I was in 4th grade. He said, "They made a song about you." And I was like, "Really? Somebody recognized my greatness?" What's the name of this song? And he was grinning. And I was like, "What's the name of the song?" He was like, "Run DMC, they talk too much. Oh, girl, you never shut up." I'm sitting there like, whatever. I'm going to keep talking. So this particular day, my family, I was raised in a single family household. We had all of our needs met, most of our wants. I don't have a story of abuse or anything. I had a loving household, and we joked. We even joked about dysfunction to this day. One therapist said, "You guys laugh through your pain." Yeah, we do. It's the only way we handle it. So we were sitting at the dining room table doing our normal joking session, and they were like, "You need to just shut up." And my mother decided to put a piece of duct tape over my mouth. Trying to talk. And so I'm laughing, and tears are running from the laughing, and I just began to lick the tape. And I just kept saying, "You're not going to stop my talking." Of course, it was a mumble because my mouth was taped. And I just continued to lick and lick until the tape loosened. So sometimes in your life, you have a duct tape experience. You have something holding you back from your passion, your purpose, and you have to keep licking away at it. Licking and laughing at the situation with the tears flowing, holding on, and not allowing anything to come between your purpose. Today, I'm a school counselor, inspiring motivational speaker, so guess what I get paid to do? Talk. Yes, that's what I get paid to do. And as I moved on through life, this part is a little different. I've never really talked about this. In about 2007, my life took a major change. It was a major shift in my life. And through the death of some of my close relatives pushed me to my purpose. In about April 2007, my stepfather took ill with cancer. My mother became his caregiver. Through his transition, there was a couple of lessons learned. I've learned to reframe in my life. Reframing is when you have a situation and you find the good in it. Like DOC was a company in Detroit. Growing up, you got called four-eyed if you wore glasses and you cried. But they decided to make glasses in the sexy specs. So when I took my own children to get glasses, they cried because they didn't need them. "I want some sexy specs." So reframing is taking one thing and reframing it to mean something else. So my stepfather, as his illness progressed, he began not to be able to work. He decided to leave his job after deciding being on morphine and driving a semi wasn't the best combination. He came home and got Social Security. My mother was constantly fussing because he kept going to the grocery store. He would get in a little cart with his he was about 6'2", barely weighing 100 pounds at that point. But that was his way of providing. He kept buying groceries. He filled the pantry. He filled the refrigerator, the freezer, the garage was overflowing. I was okay with it because I would just get my grocery bag and you don't need that, do you? And I just grocery shopped at their house for a while. But it was upon his death when he was laying there making his transition, and my sister had to look at him and say, "We have Mama. We have her." And he made his transition. It was through his passing I realized love transcends death. That love is not about the hand holding or the cuddling. It's about being that provider to the end and beyond. Now we move on to near Thanksgiving. Same year. My mother's health had failed during the caregiving. Thanksgiving, we spent it together with our dysfunctional jokes. And then that Monday she had a surgery to put her permanent port in for dialysis. By Friday she was going with the Lord. She left. So I'm like, okay. And I remember clearly that day I went into the bathroom because I'm kind of a private person with grief. And this little voice was like, "You're all alone now." Because being a single parent, where did I spend my Saturdays? at mama's house. You know, even now I think with empty nest, if my mom was here, I would be able to have a shopping partner, a movie partner, different things. So, but as soon as that voice came, the small, still small voice said, I said in my word, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And it went away. So through her transition, I was just kind of numb. But my mother did leave me a little cush. So I was like, you know what, I want to do something different. So I decided to go back to nursing school. That was not for me. I was in class, but then within, my grandfather sat there, my father's mother, my parents started dating when my mother was 15. Wow. So my grandfather had been in her life her whole life. My granddad sat there the day my mom died, because we all went back to her house. He said, I won't be here long either. He said, I can't believe Diane's gone. February 15th, he made his transition. It was as if my support system rug was snatched from under me. All the people I would go to if my lights was off, we didn't have enough food, they were gone. So I decided to just really go crazy and insane. And it's like I threw a dart and landed on Texas, because I was living in Detroit at the time. And I decided to go crazy and have crazy faith. I uprooted me and my 3 kids by ourselves, and we moved down here. Through their death, through any death, like even the end of the pregnancy is really a death of a pregnancy. It comes birth. When a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, there's a death involved. So through their death, opportunity opened for me. I was able to financially relocate and put ourselves in a better situation. I had a desire to be an educator. I was able to do that, get my master's degree, and go into education. So through losing them, I gained. I was able to move to the place of purpose. Thank you.